Hello, people. Welcome to Retro News. How are you, Luke? Welcome back to the show.
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm all right. We're here to discuss. You can fire things off.
You cut out a little bit just there.
Can you hear me?
I can now. Yeah, what's up?
Well, to make a start, what's your opinion on Soldier Boy and these dodgy consoles?
Oh, it's hilarious, man. He's going to jail, I think, or his PR team are, or his manager. Basically, it's a crappy Chinese clone knockoff console, and it runs old SNES and N64 ROMs, and basically, it's a copyright lawsuit waiting to happen. Not only that, but on his website, he was using the new Super Smash Brothers game picture to sell the console.
Oh,
So it's false advertisement, copyright infringement, IP infringement, uh, probably fraud. There's a lot of shit going on there. He's absolutely crazy to have done this. I don't know if it was him himself. I haven't seen him do any press releases about it, but I imagine it was his manager or his PR team, and it's a huge fuck up. He's probably going to go to jail. Hello?
hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Yeah, this is what he copied. This thing here,
Yes,
got this off eBay for 40 quid 2 years ago, and it's absolutely
yes,
crap.
yes. It's terrible. I don't even think he copied it. I think he just bought that, put a new logo on it, and sold it as his own. I don't even think he copied it. I think he just stole it.
I was going to show them what it looks like. This crap, an SD card. It's bollocks.
It runs slower than an N64 as well, right?
It's slow.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Is it's not even good, and he's charging a lot of money for it. $100 for the handheld, 200 for the home console, and apparently the home console is worse than the handheld.
Yeah. There was a teardown of it. He did a teardown. It was on the chip.
Yeah, yeah. It's I can't really hear you at all, man. You're cutting in and out.
Can you hear me now?
I can, but is something up with your internet or
No,
something?
it's because I stepped away and stepped away a little bit. I have to be close
Yeah,
to the
don't.
mic because it's my new
Yeah,
computer.
stay close, or you really cut out. Yeah, no, it's an interesting one, man. He's going to go to court for this. There'll be lawsuits over it. Nintendo sue everybody for everything, as you know that. So it'll be interesting to see. It was a dumb move. It'll be funny to see how much money he made. I mean, people aren't stupid enough to buy that these days, are they?
I wouldn't have thought so unless they're diehard Soldier Boy fans. That's if he
I
does have
don't
any
think there
fans.
are many. I don't think there are many of those about. So, no, it's interesting. I don't even. I think it could have been a troll as much as anything.
You reckon he's been
It's just
set up?
I think he could have been, in terms of his manager or someone on his team has done that in his name, and it's going to screw him over. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see.
You, mm,
Was was there something else you wanted to discuss with me as well?
the PlayStation Classic.
Yeah, I haven't really taken much of a look at the PlayStation Classic. I heard people complaining that it didn't have enough games, and some of the games ran slowly, but I haven't really looked into it very much. You bought one, didn't you? What's your
Yeah,
thoughts on it?
it's okay. I mean, it's got cool borders, Final Fantasy 7 on it, Tekken 3, IntelliQ. It's got a couple of Destruction Derby. It's got some okay games on it. It's not too bad for what it is. It probably is a bit
How much is it? What's the price point?
90 quid.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it's not bad. It's like a
Good
little
for
old school collectible kind of thing. You
It's a
could get it
novelty.
for someone who's never played sort of the old PlayStation games and can't get the discs. And yeah, I mean, there's a market for it, so fair enough to them. I think it look from looking at it, it looks pretty sleek and it looks pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, it's just a bit of nostalgia.
I mean,
It's
the,
just
the
not.
controllers are as they were originally intended, and they feel good. They're good controllers. They do the bit.
Right, so no analog sticks.
No, there's no analog sticks. I mean, with some of the games,
Right,
they
that's
put
interesting.
twisted metal on it as well.
Yeah, 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 that's a good game. No, that's interesting because I remember, you know, how much the analog stick changed gaming is actually massive because if you think about some of the games on the PS1 that were top down, or on the PC that were top down but then became 3D,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
fascinating.
the graphics don't hold up today. I mean, I'm going to be honest. It just the 3D era just doesn't. That early era.
Yeah, of course, of course. That was the first. They were some of the first 3D games. So
But when it came out, it revolutionised. It changed my thinking of game. It changed your way of thinking of game, and I went straight to that. And it
yeah,
changed your way of thinking. It made us all addicted to sort of games we are today. Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I like that there's Final Fantasy on it. I heard that the Japanese version has got some different games on it, but
No,
that's
for enough
kind of
quick
normal.
list for you of some more games to mention quickly.
Yeah, yeah. But
Was
make sure you stay close to the mic when you
Yeah.
do
Can
it.
you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah,
Battle
yeah.
Arena Toshin and Core Borders 2, Grand Theft Auto, Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Wild Arms, Twisted Metal, Tom Clancy's Rainbow,
Wild Arms is a great game. It's very similar to Final Fantasy.
Revelation Persona, Resident Evil Director's Cut, all from the
Yeah, yeah.
theatre. And I don't know, it's just all about opinion, isn't it?
It is. It is. The thing is, I don't like that they have like a limited selection. What I really think makes sense for these companies to do is you make the classic console and then you build an online store and sell the ROMs cheap so people can buy and choose what they want.
But what do
That's
you
how
think
I would.
about the future of these mini consoles? Because, I mean, for some
Well,
people,
I think there's a future for them, but like I just said, I think they've got to do it the way I just said it. If you build an N64 Classic and you build an online Nintendo store for it
hmm,
where people can buy every title that was on the N64, I think people would like that a lot more than just like, here's 50 games, but you don't get to choose which one. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a future for them, but they've got to give people more choice of what games go on there.
you hear what Reggie said? He said they've cancelled the NES and SNES Classic now. They're not going to make any more.
Well, that's crazy because they would have made a lot of money from
But you know what Nintendo are like? They always make these
them.
snappy decisions.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. I mean, you don't want to make too many. The best thing to do is wait, 3 or 4 years, then bring out another one, and then wait another 3 or 4 years. If you bring them all out at one time, people will get sick of it.
You think the N64 Mini would be a good idea? Be a great idea. But bring it out for the
I
Switch. Bring
think
out a
the
disc for
problem
the
with the
Switch.
N64 Mini is that most people have a computer that can emulate N64 ROMs, and it's been done
Yeah.
already. I
And
think that's the
also,
big problem.
GoldenEye is a bit messy, isn't it? Because EA own the image rights of something, or the James Bond one. And then the GoldenEye game is owned by by Microsoft because they bought Rage. Is it Rage? Yeah, Rage, whatever. Uh, Forgotten what the name of the people
Yeah,
who
I
made
know who you mean.
Rare,
The original Golden one.
because
Rare, yeah, yeah.
Microsoft are buying all the studios. So then basically, then the other rights are down for Nintendo. So it's all a bit messy, and I don't think those things
It's a bit
work
like
now, would they?
Spider-Man with Sony. I don't know if you know about that.
What was the situation with that?
Sony owns Spider-Man and Venom to do the movies, whereas really they're Marvel properties, and you'd think that Marvel Studios would make Spider-Man, but some weird thing happened where Spider-Man sold their rights to some tiny movie makers, and then Sony bought up those rights, and now Marvel can't use Spider-Man anymore, even though he's a Marvel
Oh
character.
dear.
It's weird, isn't it?
That's strange. And can you also
It's
tell me about this new thing for the Xbox that they're adding keyboard and mouse support? When is this
Yeah,
announced?
well, so they actually added it already. The
Oh,
Xbox One now has keyboard and mouse support for developers, meaning that developers, when they make games, they can choose to make the game work for mouse and keyboard as well. What this means is you're going to see a lot of games that were considered PC only move to console, stuff like League of Legends, Dota 2, uh, Command and Conquer, Total War, stuff that you needed a mouse and keyboard for will now work on Xbox One. So it's a really smart move. What's gonna happen is all of the people that play Call of Duty and Battlefield and sort of any kind of intense shooting game, they're going to have to move to Xbox because the mouse and keyboard is the superior way of playing shooting games. It's just much, much faster.
isn't it starting to muddy the waters between PC and consoles, and then eventually the consoles will just die, like you said, and such will just go into streaming or
I
whatever?
don't. I don't think consoles will die. I think actually it's a really smart move by Microsoft because it means that you can have both in one go. If you don't play, extreme PC games and all you want is a few little PC games, an Xbox One is going to run that perfectly well, especially games like League of Legends, Dota, stuff that's really popular on the PC that you need a mouse for, but it's not super intense on the graphics card. You don't need the best PC in the world, so the Xbox will handle it easily. It is going to muddy the water. It's going to be very unfair for people who don't know that everybody else. If you're playing with a controller and everybody else is playing with mouse and keyboard, you're gonna get smashed up, and you'll think, "What the fuck is going on?" And so, yeah, what I think will happen is a lot of the people who play shooting games, they'll move to PC over time because
This is
they'll
what,
try to.
but obviously now, obviously 20 years ago,
Oh, come back, come back.
what I said was 20 years ago, if you had you're either upper class, middle, or whatever, or your family had a spare bit of cash, or you know, more or not.
Sorry, bro, you really keep cutting out now.
Can you
It's
hear me
getting
still?
bad.
Can you still hear
I
me?
can hear you sometimes, but you come and go.
What I basically said was 20 years ago, PT was only sort of like middle class, richy sort of people had them, didn't they? And then normal people like us just had consoles.
Yes, I suppose it was. It's been different in different countries. In America, it's always been quite normal to have a computer, and PC gaming was a lot bigger in America than it was in the UK. I don't know why. That's just a fact. It's something I noticed. And then yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where changes come over time and you can't really do anything about them. I personally really enjoy the classic, the consoles, the way certain games have worked better. For example, FIFA and racing games have always been better on the console. Um, there's many reasons for it, but mostly it's the controller and the fact that everybody else already buys FIFA and say Forza or Gran Turismo, they already buy it on the console, so everybody just knows those games on that platform. What I would say is now that they're bringing mouse and keyboard to Xbox, it does change it a lot, and
It changes the
it's going to
game
change.
entirely.
It really does. It really does. Certain games you can just do so much faster with a mouse and keyboard. So much faster. Shooting games are one, but there are many others. There's many games that just work easier with a mouse and keyboard if you know how to use them.
I mean, the
Uh,
problem is if with things like mouse and keyboard, if you're not used to it, I mean, obviously I've always had PC, but I'd always play like over pad or something. You know. gamepad or
Yeah,
whatever. I
yeah.
never used keyboards very often. Wouldn't have a
I
clue.
I moved over when I was about 15. I swapped from console to PC, and it took me about 10 years to get good
Jesus.
at playing on the mouse and keyboard. It takes a long, long time. It's just one of those things you've got to practice and stick at it. But the
I'm
thing
from the
is,
gener. Sorry, carry on.
well, no, no, you go first. You go first.
I'm from the generation where computers were just sort of out. And if you had a PC, that was just for whatever. Then if you played games, you had a console. It's just that's all there was to it. There was no middle. Do you know what I mean? There's no middle ground.
Well, I think you missed one generation because like before consoles came out, gaming was only done on PCs.
And
There were only
64, Commodore 64. I had one of them. Never used it.
Yeah, but even before the Commodore 64, you
BBC
to make a
Micro.
Commodore 64, you need a PC. And so gaming started on the PC, but it was never popular. The
But
console is what made video games popular in the home for sure.
but the Commodore 64 was just a poor man PC, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, 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 it was pretty much. That's all of the old gaming styles. Most of the top games we think of now came from text adventures on the PC where people would type shit to each other as part of the game. It's very odd. So, I mean, gaming has some weird roots, to be honest with you. Um, but yeah, some funny stuff
Before we
always
go,
happens in gaming.
have you ever seen a BBC Micro?
What?
BBC Micro.
The old BBC computer.
Yes, yes. I will tell you a very
Yeah, I
quick
know of it.
story before we go. My dad bought
Yeah, go.
one from work in '89, and so they're getting rid of them. They said to him, "Have it," and we bought it, and we had it for about 10 years.
Wow. I've never actually used one, but my friend Benedict, him and his stepdad spent a while fixing one, like learning how to take it apart and
Hmm.
fix it. And they eventually got it working, which was quite impressive, but
But
I never really had to go on it or
it was
anything.
basically wielded. It was a load of rubbish, really.
Mm.
Right.
You
Well,
got to sort that. You got to sort that microphone out, my buddy, or tape it to your mouth
I'm going
so
to
that
stop
it's.
the broadcast now. Thank you for coming on the show. Stay on the line for 1 second once we get off. Right,
I
thank
will
you,
do,
people.
bro.
Bye, people.